In this first section of problems, you're supposed to explain how you know that the triangles are similar. So they've already done problem number 1 for us, so I'm going to talk through what they said here. If you notice, these two triangles, we don't know a lot about them. We don't know how long the sides are. We don't know what most of the measures of the angles are. We do know this one's 90 degrees. But the thing we do know about them is that since this is 90 degrees and this is 90 degrees, this is an angle pair that's congruent. And we know from this marking that these two are congruent. So this is an angle pair that's congruent. So if we end up having two angle pairs that are congruent, then we know that the triangles are similar. And this should not say congruent, it should say similar. We know they're similar by the angle-angle similarity theorem, because we know two corresponding pairs of angles are congruent. So I'm going to skip number 2. I want to talk about number 3, because remember, we have a toolbox of 3 different ways we can prove something is similar. We can know it by the angle-angle, where we find two pairs of congruent angles. We can know it by side-side-side, where we find all 3 corresponding sides, all 3 pairs of corresponding sides are proportional, meaning they have the same scale factor. Or we can do side-angle-side, where we find one pair of congruent angles, and then on either side of that, proportional sides, right? So we have these 3 ways to tell. So I want us to look at number 3. We don't know any angles or how the angles relate, but we do have corresponding sides. And so we can divide these to see if they're proportional. We want to know if this side, when you divide by that, if 4.5 divided by 3, is that going to be equal to this side divided by this, 4.5 divided by 3? Well, obviously these two are going to be equal. But then if I take big side divided by small here, are they going to be equal? So 4.5 divided by 3 is equal to 1.5. So the scale factor from here to here, multiplying by 1.5. And 3 divided by 2 is also 1.5. So they share the scale factor, which means that, yes, these are also similar by the side-side-side theorem, right? And we proved it by looking at the scale factor. And so the last one I'm going to do is number 5. If you look at these two, we know one pair of corresponding angles. Austin, hey. We know one pair of corresponding angles, and so we know that these are congruent. And then we know that we can compare 3 and 9. I'm going to divide larger by smaller because I find that easier. 9 divided by 3 is 3. And then 6 divided by 2 is also 3. So we know that these two sides and these two sides are proportional by the same scale factor, and we know that the angle between them is congruent. So we know that these two are similar by side-angle-side. So you do problems 2, 4, and 6.